Today's oil change day in the C8 Corvette. We're going to show you how to save over $100 on a DIY oil change. Welcome to the Full Octane Garage, and today is the first oil change for our 2023 C8 Corvette. You're going to need a few basic items. You don't necessarily need a 4-post lift. I just happen to have one, makes it easier. You could do it with some ramps, and you could also do it with a jack. We're going to just do it a little bit more easily since we do have the 4-post lift. And the other thing you're going to make sure of before you do all of this, just for a safety precaution of not accidentally starting the motor, go ahead and put your convertible top in maintenance mode. This is a hardtop convertible, and that's how you have to fill the car. You actually have to have the rear clamshell up, so you want to make sure you do that. Also loosen your oil cap before you drain the oil. For your C8 Corvette oil change, you're going to need basically 4 things. The first thing you're going to need is a socket wrench, 15mm, to remove the drain plug. You're going to need a 74mm or a 918 oil filter wrench to remove the oil filter. You're then going to need a PF64 AC Delco oil filter, and you're going to need 7.5 quarts of OW40 Mobil 1 Supercar oil. Now, I elected to use the AC Delco filter while the car is in warranty because that's a GM certified product. I wouldn't want them to question anything if I ever had an engine component failure. So we're going to stick with the GM product. After warranty, we may go with a better filterization process. Let's get right to it. As you can see, we have an oil pan to collect the oil. Additionally, under this skid pan, they actually have a cutout where the oil filter is, and that's where you're going to remove the oil filter. And as you move forward in the car, there is an area right here for the drain plug. That's a 15mm. That's going to come out first. We're going to drain some oil. After that's fully drained, then we're going to come back here. We're going to remove the oil filter, let it drain out, and then put it all back together. Okay, the very first thing is going to be removing the drain plug. You'll notice we did go ahead and put some gloves on. We also have plenty of paper towels because this will probably make a bit of a mess. So once you get it loose, you can finger untighten this, and it is going to start leaking on you a bit. This is actually one of the cleaner oil drain plugs to remove. It actually has 2 O-rings on it. There's one in the top and there's one in the bottom. And you're going to find that you typically don't need to replace either of the gaskets. Now there's one thing to be careful of. When my drain plug came out, it did not have an O-ring attached to it. This is a 2 O-ring drain plug. Do not be confused that, be careful, because my O-ring actually stuck to the engine on my first removal. And I was a little puzzled because I saw some blue markings for what looked like the O-ring. This is a reusable O-ring, as is this one, as long as they're both in good condition. But when you, after your oil is drained out, you may find this hanging. You may find this have dropped down into the oil that you evacuated out of the car. Any way you look at it, you got to make sure that you have 2 O-rings when you put this plug back in. So basically what we're going to do is put our O-ring back on, and it will go back into the engine and tighten up, and we should be good and secure. Okay, now that we've got the majority of the oil out, we've got both O-rings on the plug. We are going to reinsert the plug and start screwing it in. Get a little bit of oil off our hands. And this is going to torque down to 18 foot-pounds, also known as 25 Newton pounds. You want to wipe it off real good, make sure there's no oil residue on it. And I have the torque wrench set to 18 pounds. All right, so that is now torqued down. We're going to move on to the oil filter. Okay, the oil filter is going to be a little messier. We have our tool, we're going to loosen it up, and it'll be pretty snug from the factory. Once we have it hand loose, well, it's not as messy as I thought it was going to be. There we go. Now we're talking. Okay, you want to make sure that the O-ring came off with the old filter. We're going to just dip the old filter in here and leave it. Okay, we have our PF64 filter, and what we're going to do is we're going to take it out of the box. We're going to put a little bit of oil around the O-ring and around the threads, and then we're going to pour a little bit of oil in this. So I've dipped my finger in the oil to kind of get a little bit on here. And we don't have to put a ton of oil in here, just a little bit. This will help prime it up when the engine starts again. We're going to stick it back up in the hole. Wipe it down really good. And for the most part, this is going to go in hand tight. We're not going to torque this guy down really hard. You're going to be surprised how hand tight it does. Then you'll come back and check for oil leaks after you fill the oil up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the top side. We're going to let the car down off the lift. And we're going to go ahead and put 7.5 quarts of oil in and then check the oil levels. Okay, if you recall, I said to go ahead and keep the rear cover up in maintenance mode so that you can actually get to your oil filler. Your oil filler is under this plastic boot. And you're going to undo the oil cap, set it aside. I'm going to recommend that you use a funnel for the refill process, just so that it doesn't become an extreme mess, and you'll get it tucked in there nice. And then you'll start with your OW40 Supercar that's Delco certified, and you're going to put 7.5 quarts in. We'll come back when we're done and check the oil level. Okay, here's how to check your oil. The car must be in park, it must be running, and the temperature must be at least 175 degrees. This allows for the oil to expand. If you check it when it's cold, it's going to give you an inaccurate reading. And ours is reading full after the oil change, so just put the dipstick back in, button it up, and you are all done. Now it's all set. Okay, this is going to be a quick video on how to reset your oil life indicator on your C8 Corvette. You're going to get to the screen using the dial on your steering wheel that's going to get to the oil and fluid life. You're going to press the round wheel once, and there's an option to reset oil. All you're going to do is push and hold that, and then you're going to get the reset oil. Would you like to do it? It's going to ask you to verify it. So you're going to scroll over and check yes. You're going to hit enter one more time. And now your engine oil has been reset to 100%, and you're good until your next oil change. Thanks for being with us at the Full Octane Garage. If you found this tip helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe, and come back often. We'll loosen it up. Damn it.